So before I talk about the NBA playoffs, I just like to say that I'm wearing the San Jose shirt. So um, congratulations to San Jose Sharks for making it to the Stanley Cup. Yes, I'm wearing the San Jose shirt. I am very impressed with what they done and how they conducted and performed in all ways, shape, or form, and it was just been blessing to watch. So congratulations to San Jose Sharks. Hopefully make the same history that the LA Kings have. Fortunately, I didn't go to the parade even though I lived in LA, which was I'm still bummed about. But it was still great that the Kings made history. So a friend of mine who's a Kings fan, you know, enjoyed the Stanley Cup moment as well. Sure did. And one thing I could say is that San Jose, hopefully they have the same success that the Kings did. So let's see where it goes from there. Another thing that I was going to say is something else. What I was going to say was something else I was going to say was to talk about the NBA playoffs. So basically, the Golden State Warriors are down 3-1 in the series. This is the first time trailing in the series, and it's hard because their backs against the wall. History is on the line, and they have so much. They're facing a lot of pressure, which it's going to be tough to handle. I could say the least. And yeah, it's going to be very hard because for Golden State, they have a lot on their plate. Like they have to really dig themselves a hole. OKC, all they have to do is do what they're doing to get the job done. Okay, Golden State needs to make all the adjustments. They need to start attacking to the basket more. They're forcing too many threes, and they're not playing with energy. And Steve Kerr is like, let's let the pain sit and let it hang. But if I were him, I would just call timeout and say, hey, we got to get it together. We got to figure something out. Like they look so burnt out and look so tired, and they're just forcing things in there. This is not Stephen Curry. This is not Golden State at all. And it would be a shame if I was in. It would be a shame if I was in his shoes right now because it's a lot of fight that they're trying to go through, and it's like they're on the wrong end of the commanding 3-1 lead. Let's just put it to that. And so, if OKDC does overcome Golden State, and this would be a tough moment. This would be a tough situation. Accomplishments are on the line, and you have a lot of weight on your shoulder, a lot of pressure. You're facing your own crowd right now. You have a crowd that you have to not let down. You can't let them down. You can't put on a bad performance. The series should have been 2-2. If they won the first two, it would have been 2-2 in the series, and they wouldn't have much pressure. But unfortunately, that's not how it went down. They're down 3-1. So let me say this: the Warriors do have a chance to take it to 7. And then Game 7 is kind of where it lays down on the line. So I could say that Golden State does have a chance. Golden State does have a chance of picking them up from 3-1 to 3-2. I think the problem is being on the road is kind of their challenge. If they can overcome the challenge, unlike what Toronto did, which I'll get to that, then Golden State has a big issue on there. They're going to have a long offseason. Let me just put it to that. The offseason is going to be so disparaging for Golden State that the fact that they're knocked out in 6 and they couldn't overcome the tough crowd in OKC. That's what I got to say to that. So they got to do whatever they can to push themselves to Game 7 and get back their home court advantage and put it on their hands. That's what I got to say to that. So one thing I could say is that OKC, they're doing phenomenal. Russell Westbrook, Billy Donovan, Kevin Durant, they're playing phenomenal. I don't know if firing Scott Brooks was a smart decision. It didn't really do much because they're playing a lot differently than they were with Scott Brooks, but it still feels a little bit the same to me. It's just Billy Donovan is just putting on a little touches and just making more of an impact than what Scott Brooks did. And yeah, that's what I got to say to that. So yeah, because they didn't play with the full potential, and they ended up firing him, and it was the injuries. It wasn't really his fault, and I don't know why they fired him. They fired Scott Brooks, and then with Billy Donovan taking over, it's kind of like a rookie coach is kind of making all of an impact. They probably wanted a different coach. I don't know what, but that's kind of where it happened. But luckily, success has been happening for them. Strategy's been changed. The OKC crowd, I feel like, is setting the momentum for them, just like how they knocked off the 67-15 San Antonio Spurs, which was hard to believe because I was hoping the Spurs and Warriors clash to the Titans. Everyone thought it was going to be Spurs and Golden State, the Spurs or Warriors, but no one thought the Thunder was going to be in place. So that's what I got to say to that. So one thing to say to that is OKC, I think they have a lot of momentum in their hands, and the Warriors have a lot of pressure. So game 6, let's see how it plays out. Game 5, let's see how it plays out. Golden State Warriors, you guys need to win. It's time to make history. So let's talk about the Raptors and the Cavs. I'm going to talk about it real quick. And I got to say, the Raptors played very disappointingly. They played terrible. It was very disgraceful and painful to watch. I got to say, me as a Toronto Raptors bandwagon fan, and I do admit it, I'm on the bandwagon right now because they're the underdogs. And even my brother said the reason I'm rooting for Toronto because you're rooting for the underdogs. They're an underdog team. They're an underdog against Cleveland. Excuse me. And if in any way Toronto does win Game 7, if they win Game 6, let alone that, then I give them all the props to that because they have a lot of stuff to figure out. It's ironic because the entire conference finals has been disappointing this year because most of the games have been blowouts, 20-point win margins. The gap has been between 20 points separating those teams in decisive final scoring. And then with Toronto beating Cleveland, they beat them by 15 points. The next game they beat them by 5. So combinedly, they won by 20 points in two games at home. So 6, they got to turn it up, or else LeBron's going to just put the nail in the coffin. That's one thing you got to avoid. It's the same thing with Golden State. OKC's probably looking for the nail in the coffin, which I don't think it's going to happen. They got to avoid getting knocked out or blown out in any way, shape, or form. That's what I got to say to that. So one thing I could say is congratulations to Cleveland for putting on a good win and putting on a great adjustments and put on a phenomenal game. Kevin Love was on his game. Lowry was on his game. LeBron was on his game. The big three showed up to play. Not just LeBron James showed up, but the rest of the team showed up to play. Channing Frye continued to play the role that he's playing in. Valanciunas and Biyombo for the Raptors have been struggling. The fact that you got to put both of them on the court and it didn't work whatsoever has been a huge disappointment and letdown. That's what I got to say to that. So that was just my quick 2 cents. I'm going to talk more about Cleveland and Toronto the next game, especially maybe tomorrow. I'm going to watch the game tomorrow. I do want to watch. I'm excited about this game. It's about time Toronto puts on a win to put a Game 7. But I think Toronto needs to be the team to be up for the challenge for Game 7. Don't go down. Don't punk out and lose Game 6. Go up for the challenge, because I know that's Dwayne Quasey does. He's up for the challenge, and he puts on Game 7 and fights Cleveland. But they need to stop having these getting blown off the court. They need to figure out how not to get blown off. They need to figure out to put on a good fight for Game 7 if they win Game 6. They have to avoid the nail in the coffin for the Cavs. That's what I got to say to that. So, catch you on the flip side, and I'll see you later. Peace out.